Buck52 says, I want to make my life easier. Owning multiple pieces of property does not do that. You can't put a price on sanity, peace of mind. No doubt, man. No frickin' doubt. That might be the truest words I've seen all week. If you look at the amount of headache and stress and time that you have to put into building a real estate portfolio, it just doesn't even make sense, honestly. I've been there before. I've done it. And I actually had good tenants. I had a nightmare one for one of them, but kicked her out and got some good tenants in there. But it just still wasn't, it just wasn't worth my time. And I think a lot of real estate investors don't consider their time when they're factoring in their profits and loss every month and their return on their capital. Because if you had an income statement, you'd have your rent at the top, your income, and then you'd have all your expenses, your property tax, your insurance, utilities, if you pay that, all these costs. But you don't put your time there as a cost, and you should. Unless, of course, you have one that's already built up and you have property managers and things like that. But most people who have 2 or 3 rental homes, or even 10, probably, they can't afford a property manager. And so that's one big downside of it, is just like the time, and that people don't consider that. And even when you're not considering your time, like the return on real estate isn't even that good. Like, what is it? What's the average return on real estate? Like 5 or 10% for all that stress and all those things that could go wrong. And, you know, just with the state of the world right now. And that was kind of the final push for me to get out of real estate and sell my real estate for Bitcoin. It was just the fact that I don't like where things are right now. I don't like the mentality of people. I don't like the rules and the laws between the tenant and the landlord. I just felt like that at any time, the tenant could stop paying their rent to me. And there's not really much you can do about that without a huge headache. And so they're living for free. They're living in my house that I'm paying all the costs for, which the costs of that are also going up. And the costs are often going up faster than you can actually increase the rent. And so it was just like a scenario I did not see playing out well in my favor. And so I sold it. And so that's one piece of it, though, too. There's multiple factors that just don't make any sense for people to own real estate. And so all the real estate's going to be repriced in Bitcoin terms, and people are going to be shocked of how low of value they are in Bitcoin. Because we've already seen houses go from 2,000 Bitcoin per house to 200 Bitcoin per house to 20 Bitcoin per house. Now in some countries and jurisdictions, you can buy a house for 1 or 2 Bitcoin. And in a couple of years, it's going to be 0.1 of a Bitcoin, and then 0.01 of a Bitcoin. And it's just going to keep going, because that's the whole dynamic here. So the whole market's going to be repriced in Bitcoin. Everything's going to keep falling in Bitcoin. And a lot of people, real estate investors who store value in real estate, are actually going to move that into Bitcoin. So not only is the supply of real estate going to go up, the prices are going to come down. A lot of that capital is going to flow into Bitcoin, which is going to drive the price up and make the supply go down. So it just makes sense. Anybody who understands what's going on here is not holding real estate right now. They're holding Bitcoin. And some people kind of moved 10% of their portfolio over there. They sold 1 or 2 houses, but that's just going to keep happening. It's not going to turn around. There's a lot of things I think people are just like thinking are going to turn back around. Like that Bitcoin's all of a sudden going to, or a house is all of a sudden going to go from 4 Bitcoin to 10 again. And it's just not going to happen over the long term. So long term, all these trends are going to continue. Bitcoin's going to reprice the world. Significant capital is going to flow from real estate into Bitcoin. And if you're here now, you're going to be the beneficiary of all that. So yes, absolutely. Peace of mind. And the worst thing about it too, this is the worst part, is that after you go through all that, all the headaches, all the tenants, you get your 5, 10, 15% return every year. In 15 or 20 years, you have to put all that profit back into the maintenance of the house. You have to fix the foundation, or you have to put a new roof on the house, or the water heater blew up. It's a never ending cycle. And yeah, maybe at some point in the future you get to cash out, but then you pay half of capital gains tax and you have to pay the estate tax and you have to pay the transfer tax. And it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. It's not a good battery. People are using it as a store of value right now, real estate, and it's not a good battery because it leaks. You can't put capital into a piece of real estate and hold it there for 100 years and expect it to hold its value. There's so many just costs that eat into that. So they're kind of artificial gains, really, when you think about it. It's all artificial. Whereas Bitcoin is not. Part of it's artificial. When they print money, the price goes up. But as more people understand Bitcoin, people move into Bitcoin from the broken fiat system. That actually drives up the demand, and it's real increase in value, real value, not something that you see in real estate.